I'm live. That's good to know. Let's see who all shows up. I know it's early in the day, early-ish in the day for some people. It might be a little busy. And I get that. Let's see here. 2 people. Howdy. Ooh, too much. So I am going to talk about prepping for certain things, because there are some times that you can get away with having stones that aren't necessarily completely flat, you know, especially, hey, actually, I was at the hospital earlier. I have food poisoning. I'm feeling better. They gave me a shot. I'm feeling better, and I'm trying to get some things done, but it is going very slowly. So, I am trying to get my stones prepared for taking breaks as I need them. I did 2 Emersons and then went. So as you can see, I'm flattening these stones, because the whole thing is, especially like if I'm sharpening a knife by hand and I'm doing a convex, hey, just talk to him on the phone. That dickhead right there that just commented. You can get away with having a stone that's slightly bellied when you're doing a convex, the way I do a convex. As a matter of fact, it makes it a little easier, but you're doing an item that needs to be perfectly flat, like a straight razor. That actually is going to make your life kind of difficult. So I did a knife the other day for a customer, large fixed blade that required I use my flat stones. It was just too big to do on the small stones, which means that I dished these out. These weren't, I remember that the old Emersons had a blade that looked like it was supposed to be a V-grind. It was actually a chisel. These weren't like that. They were designed to be a chisel. They were completely flat on the backside. So, as you can see, here, let me rinse this off for you, show you. I need more wine. I gotta fill this thing up. Hang on just a second. My rinsing bottle's in. Oh, my stomach's still following me. I told Peter I threw up so hard that I pulled a muscle in my shoulder. Chisel grind's pretty good for certain things. My neck knives I make are chisel ground. So, as you can see, there's a spot in the middle where it is bellied out. Oh, somebody said something. Hang on. I missed a comment. These weren't like that. And this stone has got a spot on it as well that I'm noticing. The stone might be ruined. It's got a flaw in it now that is coming to the surface that is a large. This is a really cheap stone. I may have to forgo using this, but we'll get it flat anyway. Woo. You can get a chisel grind really sharp. I really did a number on this one. Let's see here. What's that sucks at new stones? Actually, I think I got past it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was a spot that tore out on this stone. The messiest of jobs. You get covered with nasty, grubby shit. Yeah, I'm getting spots that are just tearing out on this stone. So, there's spots of large grit. This is a natural, just as a natural stone. This is not, this is like a piece of sandstone. It's about 1,000 grit. It's listed as 1,000 grit, but it's about 1,000 grit. So, I mean, it's not a definite 1,000 grit stone. The problem you have when it's a natural stone is there are spots of large grit that will tear out. I think this is a king, but it's all in Japanese, so I can't tell. But I have a guy that is sending me several stones that he doesn't use. That he says he doesn't have a use for them. He doesn't like the feedback he gets from them. And he's going to send me those, so we'll see how those work out. And I do believe that we have flattened this stone. Make sure we don't have any. Stone's flat. So, the next stone though is a problem. Because this stone, not problem, but this stone is dual-sided. Well, it's not a problem, it just means it's going to take longer. So, the reason the prep is important, like I said, is certain things you can get away with it. But as you can see, you can't see. We'll dump this here. Hang on. Now you can see. I've removed a good bit of that stone. So, straight razors have to be perfectly flat, and if your stone's not perfectly flat, you're going to miss edges and parts of the blade. So now I've got that cleaned off enough. Fix the chips on the corners, which is always important. You just have to have a feel for knowing when your stones need to be redone. Now, a lot of people flatten their stones after every use. I don't. I usually flatten them when they get really bad and dished, or when I know I'm getting ready to do straight razors. Straight razor is important. Always has to be perfectly flat. Now, this one didn't get dished near as badly as that 1,000 grit. So this is the 600 and 2,000, and I already did, before you guys joined me, my 5,000, my 10,000, but I did not do my 8,000 yet. I need to actually get it wet a little bit. So, with every job, being prepared is important. See, this one still has got a little bit of a dished out area right there. So any of you guys that are thinking about using waterstones, things like that, there's preparation that goes into it. You have to be thoughtful of that. You can't just grab these stones and just keep using them and not do any maintenance. Now, if you're using a Nagura stone and you're using it evenly across the stone fairly often, you're gonna kind of keep your stones flat, but you still need one of these. You still need one of these. It's the only way you're ever gonna make sure that your stones are completely flat and get the job done properly. I might be selling a Sebenza soon. I'm not sure. I don't think I need mine. Plus, I'm getting a new knife that's green. Because Pip Corona and I came to an agreement for some work I did for him. I am going to just basically trade him for his Mako that his Fair and Forge Gavco collab Mako that he doesn't carry. So did a bunch of stuff while he was here for Pip's knives, and I think that's what we're gonna do, is just do that as a, that one's flat. This one has got some serious cuts and nicks. That's a problem. This side. Now, for you guys that haven't flattened stones, there's a little trick. Is you just do a grid pattern that crisscrosses the entire stone so that you can see if you've missed any spots that are low. And you'll just be able to see real quick. We'll just hit it real quick. You can see the areas where the stone is low. Handy little pro tip. Now, I know there's a lot of videos about that out there. A lot of people have already done videos about that. But there's no secrets to what I do. What did I hit what with? I mean, what did I hit it with? A flattening stone, a lapping stone. It's just a silica carbide stone with grooves cut in it. Now, on a fine stone like this, I am going to, that's a 2000 grit side, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do another grid just to be sure, because this builds a slurry real quick and it may have cleaned out on its own. Just by building that slurry, and that slurry may have just washed that out. So we're going to hit it real quick one time, just to make sure it is flat, and it is. And you can get these aren't hard to get, they're cheap. And even if they weren't cheap, they are worth the investment, because with waterstones, you're going to want them. You just take a pencil, not a Sharpie. Sharpie will absorb it into the stone and give you a false and I just use a carpenter's pencil. It'll give you a false idea as to whether your stone is flat or not. So as you can see on this one, on my 8000 grit, has one little spot right there. It's not flat. And it has a crack in it. This 8000 grit has cracked, and I'm upset with it. But such is life. So my stones are flat. What was that, Peter? I saw something. Hang on. Let me look. How much is the 8,000? I don't know. Prices on these have changed since I bought them last. I think prices on some of these have dropped from what they used to be significantly more expensive. Prices on these stones are a good bit less than they used to be. They used to be way more expensive. So, well, I'm really not feeling well. I'm still, just that little bit of exertion, I'm out of breath. Because I've been sick, I've been throwing up, and at least I'm not throwing up, and they gave me a shot to keep me from throwing up, and they gave me some medicine to, basically Imodium and stuff to stop the squirts. But I know the prices have dropped significantly on some of these stones that I use. And I think that's because they changed the way they make them. They don't come the way they used to. All of the Naniwa stones used to come like this. They don't come with the base anymore. They all come like this now. So you just get the stone. And then you're just free to mount them. This is a 5,000 that came just like that one that I broke out of the mount and re-glued a 5,000 in there. But the problem is they come thinner. So you're not, I don't think you're quite able to use as much of the stone as you used to be able to. But, you know, it is what it is, because if you look, these stones were a good bit thicker than these stones were, because they sit down, so they were a couple millimeters thicker. They give you less for the same price, or they give you less for a price, I should say. So this is a 10,000, and it's bowed. And that's the problem I have with these, is when they're not mounted, they bow, because they're a resin-bound stone, and I can't figure a way to keep these from bowing. It's not flat, it's bowed. If I was to set this on here, it rocks back and forth from tip to heel. So the top is nice and flat because I flatten it with the actual flattening stone, but it's not, don't quite understand why these stones bow. I don't get it. Let me see. So that stone's completely flat, and if you could see what I'm seeing, you can see you can't keep these ones always wet. That's the problem. These are a resin-bound stone. You keep these wet, they fall apart. The resin absorbs water, and these are a splash and go. If you wet these and keep them wet, they actually will come apart. And I keep them out of the sun. I keep them, you know, protected. I keep them, I've done everything I can. They crack, they bow. I don't know what else to do to prevent it. It's just, I think it's just something that I will have to deal with. As you can see, but if I flatten both sides, then I won't have any stone left. If I do that every time, one, I don't have that kind of time, and two, I shouldn't have to. You get what I'm saying? So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put weight on top of them, and I'm going to get, once they're dry, just put some weight on top of them and see if that will do it. But it shouldn't be this hard. Know what I mean? Shouldn't be the supplier. I mean, it's the same. I've had Chaucera, I've had Naniwa, they all do the same thing. They bow. I don't know why. I don't know what to do to prevent it. I mean, there's nothing I've tried has prevented it. So has anybody ever had that issue with a with the Superstones? Have an idea for me that I haven't thought of? Fuck. I'm frozen, aren't I? Well, guys, I guess that's going to be the end of this. Can you still hear me? You can still hear me then. All right, well, I guess I'll end this anyway, because that's pretty much basically all I wanted to kind of show you. I mean, basically it's the same step for all the stones. So I will cut it here. I have a video that I took with a bunch of stuff with Pip Corona here, and hey, there we go. I'm just kidding, Peter, I wouldn't do that. That is a mirror polished Rockstead Shin black DLC. It does have, there's a little hiccup, and they say to, if you watch their videos on their website, they have to strop it, and I'm going to be real careful to strop it so that it's only the very edge, where you can see where just the very edge of that has been, that you can't see the DLC. So there's a spot up at a couple little spots on this that have some weirdness to the edge. I'm gonna see if I can strop out. It is sharp, but it's a different kind of, it's not a super fine grain sharp. It's really sharp, but it's not, yeah, it's hair popping sharp, but it's got a catch to it in a couple places. So I am going to strop it, and I'm going to look into the steel on this before I do anything on a video about it, because I want to know about its corrosion properties. Because what it looks like, if I'm looking at it, it looks like a little bit of possible pitting. Not pitting, but maybe some past corrosion, surface corrosion that it has set on that. So before I do a video about that, I'm gonna look into it, and then I will strop it for Peter, so that way, because I have the stuff to do it here. It's not ZDP. It's not ZDP, it's a different steel. It's YXR or something, I think. It's another Alphabet steel. Because it's stainless. It's stainless, not stain proof. There's only one material out there that is 100% corrosion resistant, or corrosion proof, and that is, say it with me, who knows the answer? It's a pop quiz. Who knows the answer? What is the 100% corrosion proof material that people have made knives out of? Very good, SM100, because it's not steel. Has no carbon in it, SM100. Thanks for playing along. You all guys all get a star. Exactly. I didn't say steel. Corrosion-proof material. I may have said steel. Doesn't it mean knife material? Okay. And that's it. Just as flat as it's gonna get. So, ladies and germs, what was that? It's not. It's not ZDP 189 VG10. There you go. It's YXR7. I looked at the label, I just couldn't remember. It's another alphabet steel, like YX, YZ, XYZ, ZD, 6Y, P, elemental Q, ABCD. So, yeah, that's it, guys. So, that 26 minutes right there of prep is going to save me a lot of heartache and pain when it comes to sharpening the straight razor. And now, because I don't have any other large knives, the next few straight razors, because I got a couple more, well, I have two to do. That 26 minutes that I just spent prepping the stones will save me a lot of heartache and pain in the long run. So, and I don't see what the problem is with that pocket clip. Well, there's several different variations of this. There's a, let's go in. No, I didn't get back from the doctor. I was sick in bed all day yesterday, and your box is still there. And I went to the doctor's office. I forget when. I don't know, it all kind of ran together along with everything I ate. I base it on how it feels in my hand, and if I can't feel that there's a pocket clip there, which is how you want it, because pocket clips, pocket knives you shouldn't be able to feel the pocket clip. So let's look here. Let's look at the paperwork. Let's look at this paperwork here. Let's see. So this is the specification sheet. And I have got my dry hands, so I'm not fucking up the birth certificate for your knife. All right. Turn this around. YXR, it's not ZDP, it's not VG10. Handle coating, aluminum, and it shows the Rockwell. Shows the knife. Registration numbers 395, which is on the blade. All the information is there, and there is blade cleaning maintenance. Therefore, it says here, YXR materials, high-speed tool steel, also very high carbon steel. Okay, so that does make sense. There probably is a little bit of corrosion. That may just be a little bit of corrosive, like corrosion on the blade, just a tiny bit. And I believe stropping will take that off. Just a little bit of rust that was on that edge, at the very, very edge, because that's the only part where it has been, that you can see where it's been sharpened. Is the very, 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 very edge, tiniest of fine line where you can still see edge. So, ceramic coating better than DLC. I mean, DLC is gorgeous when polished like this, but I like the ceramic better. It's a little bit more opaque. So, all right, guys, I have straight razors to do. I have some water in me because I am dehydrated. So, I will talk to you all later. Take it easy.